Hey everybody, and welcome to episode 13. This one I am calling The Offer. And welcome to the season 1 finale. So welcome back and greetings, and welcome to the final episode of season 1. I've been sitting with this one for a while because it feels different. Not because I have some ground conclusion, not because I've figured life out, and definitely not because I've suddenly found all the answers. If anything, this season has been the opposite. It's been a slow unraveling, a remembering, a questioning, a grieving, a becoming. And somewhere along the way, something unexpected happened. A conversation turned into a mirror. And perhaps for the first time in my life, I stopped looking at what I do and started looking at who I am. Not the roles, not the titles, not the healing work, not the employment services work, not the workshops, not the retreats, not the stories. Me, the little girl, the woman, the one who has been here all along. And what emerged wasn't a business plan. It wasn't a marketing strategy. It wasn't a perfectly packaged offer. It was something for more honest. A woman at 47 years old finally giving herself permission to be seen, to receive, to take up space, to stop apologizing for her existence, and perhaps, most importantly, to stop building her life around everyone else's needs. When I look back now, I can see a thread running through everything. 25 years working in employment services, government systems, community organizations, generational unemployment, people who had stopped believing they were worthy of opportunity, people who had inherited stories about who they were and what was possible for them. At the time, I thought I was helping people find jobs. Now I realize I was doing something else entirely. I was helping people remember themselves. I was helping people see possibilities they couldn't see yet. I was helping people find value in themselves long before they believed it existed. I was translating government to community, community to government, behavior into meaning, stories into possibility, pain into understanding, human into human. I didn't just have language for it, it felt normal. That's the thing about our gifts. The things most extraordinary to others often feel completely ordinary to us. We've been breathing that air our entire lives. We don't realize everyone else is struggling to reach it. And this is for the child who thought she was too much. For as long as I can remember, I felt things, everything. The grief underneath the anger, the loneliness inside the laughter, the jealousy nobody spoke about, the love people couldn't receive, the rejection that had nothing to do with me. I felt all of it before I had words for any of it. As a child, nobody hands you a manual for that. Nobody says that thing you're feeling, that isn't yours. It's real, and you're not crazy. You've just tuned differently. So I did what sensitive children do. I normalized it. I made it invisible. I made it just me. And somewhere along the way, another story landed, a painful one, a family story, one sentence, one moment, one wound. I later learned that an aunt once said, we have to love Anita because she's blood. Not we love Anita, not we choose Anita, not we're grateful for Anita. We have to because she's family. And while she probably never realized it, that sentence landed somewhere deep. A little child heard, your presence is a burden people tolerate, not a gift people choose. And when a story lands early enough, it becomes invisible. It becomes reality. It becomes the lens through which we see everything. Suddenly, so much of my life made sense. And it was that one sentence. that was heard when I was ready to hear it, that paints the picture for the whole childhood experience, for that one moment felt as a child. Suddenly so much of my life made sense, why receiving felt harder than giving, why I could hold everyone else's grief, why I could console others at my own father's funeral, why I could sit with broken people, hold them, love them, witness them, and then quietly struggle to receive the same thing myself. The woman who carried grief. When Dad died, something profound happened. Everyone saw me holding space. Very few people saw me grieving. I became the container, the one who would regulate the room, the one who could steady others, the one who could make sense of chaos, the one who could carry what others couldn't yet touch. And then eventually, when I'd find myself back in Byron, alone, heartbroken, exhausted, trying to understand why the grief felt so much bigger than one loss, because grief is rarely about one thing. It carries generations, it carries identities, it carries dreams, it carries endings. It carries every version of ourselves that can no longer continue. And for about 6 months after his transition, I would commute from Byron to Melbourne and come and hold space in Melbourne, and then go home to Byron and just fall apart. One practitioner later said something that stayed with me as I was getting some body work done in those 6 months. They told me I carried grief for others, and while part of me resisted hearing that, another part recognized it immediately, because throughout my life, people have often arrived carrying things they cannot name and somehow leave lighter. I never knew exactly what was happening. I only knew it was happening. The shaman who pointed at me in a circle and said she was crying. Hang on a sec. The shaman who pointed at me in a circle, telling the group that I was crying their tears. For the people who transformed during workshops, the clients who came back months later saying, I finally understand what you meant. The people who remembered my words long after I'd forgotten saying them. Something was happening, not because of me, but through me. And the truth about my work is, the older I get, the more I realize something. I wasn't learning a technique. I was becoming one. For years I kept searching for the method, the framework, the certifications, the thing that would finally explain what I do. And eventually I realized there wasn't one. Because the work wasn't something I learnt. The work was something I survived, integrated, lived, became conscious of. And now can finally name. I see people, not the version they're presenting, not the mask, not the performance, not the resume, not the spiritual identity. I see the child inside the adult. I see the story underneath the behavior. I see the wound beneath the defense. I see the longing beneath the achievement. I see the love underneath the fear. And perhaps most importantly, I can sit with all of it without needing it to change. Not only do I see it, I fucking feel it. And that changes people, not because I fix them, but because being fully seen is rare. Recently, I was asked a simple question: what did you need as a child? And something unexpected came out. Not the wound, not the pain, not the story, the medicine. The answer was opening the eyes of the heart for expansion to receive. When I heard myself say it, I knew, and I'm burping as I say it now. Excuse me. That's it. That's the whole story. Everything else is just a doorway. The grief work, the storytelling, the sovereignty, the workshop, the conversations, the reflections, the witnessing, the healing, the becoming. They're all pathways leading toward the same destination, helping people expand enough to receive love, receive worth, receive belonging, receive abundance, receive support, receive themselves, receive life. Receive reality without fear. Opening the eyes of the heart. That's the offer. That's what I've been doing all along. I just couldn't see it. And the story of my life has always been keeping my heart open throughout all the pain, all the grief, all the suffering, all the challenges. And constantly opening that heart when it shuts down and opening again after it shuts down. So the frequency is, I've had people say things to me over the years that I've never fully known what to do with. One person once told me that they felt pure source energy when I worked with them. Another told me I was the closest thing to pure love they had ever experienced. For a long time, I brushed those comments aside. I didn't know where to put them, but yet I always held on to them. But now I understand something. They weren't complimenting me. They were describing their experience, describing what happened inside them, what they felt, what became available in the space between us. My role has never been to manufacture anything. My role has been surrender, flow, trust, allowing. Being willing to become a channel for something bigger than my own personality. And perhaps that's why I've never resonated with guru culture. I've never wanted followers. I've never wanted people to believe me. I've wanted people to believe themselves. So here it is, the great permission. If there's one thing I've learned this season, it's this. People don't need more information. Most people are drowning in information. What they're starving for is permission. Permission to stop performing. Permission to stop pretending. Permission to stop shrinking. Permission to stop apologizing. Permission to question. Permission to rest. Permission to feel. Permission to become, permission to receive. And maybe that's what this podcast has really been. Not answers, not teachings, not conclusions. Permission. Stories that create enough space for someone else to recognize themselves. Stories that whisper, you don't have to have it all figured out. You don't have to know where you're going. You don't have to be who you were. You don't have to become who everyone expects you to be. You can simply be here and begin. So as I close season 1, I find myself standing in a place I never expected. Not certainty, not mastery, not arrival, just honesty. The child who thought her presence was a burden. The woman who carried grief she couldn't yet name. The practitioner who spent 25 years helping people remember who they were. The storyteller, the translator, the witness, the bridge, the one who has spent a lifetime opening the eyes of the heart. They're all the same person. They always were. And perhaps that's what becoming really is. not becoming someone new, but finally allowing yourself to be who you've been all along. Thank you for walking beside me this season. Thank you for listening. Thank you for witnessing. Thank you for allowing me to become more visible in real time. This isn't an ending. It feels more like a beginning. A woman at 47 finally stepping into her own lane. Not because she's ready, not because she's certain, but because something inside her finally understands that her presence was never the problem. It was always the gift. Until next season, much love. And also there's going to be an extra episode for this season because that's just the way I do things. So it's going to be just talking about what the current exhaustion that we're all feeling. So tune into episode 14. Again, doing it my way. There is no fucking right way to do this. And that is the fucking problem with humanity. Humanity is on autopilot and it's like, you need to do this and tick this box. Fuck no. Do it your own way. So that's officially season 1. But what's the opposite to a precursor? I did a precursor. What's the opposite to a precursor? That's what episode 14 is. So stay tuned, my beloveds, and thank you.